this is a piece of software called Zoom Graphics, and I got this like when I was in the 7th grade. We had an Apple IIe back then, and what I have right here now is an Apple IIgs. It's a I picked it up on eBay, and it's in really good shape. But you know, it'll run this software. But what this software does is it does something very specific. Now, back then, there was really no easy way to print out something on your screen. If you had something, you know, a graphics image on your screen and you wanted to print it out on your printer, there was really no easy way to do it. What this software does is, when you boot into it, it will display what you had on the high-resolution graphics screen that was on the screen before you rebooted, and it will then allow you to print it on your printer. Back then, we had a Epson dot matrix printer, you know, nice and loud and, you know, stuff like that. Those were good old times. But that's what this software does. So I just kind of wanted to make a video to kind of show it off, and it's got some neat pictures on here too. There's like a lot of nostalgia associated with this, so I decided I wanted to make a little video that kind of shows this off. So here we go. Here it is. Hope you can see that. Zoom Graphics. I don't know. It's made by Phoenix Software. Lake Zurich Drive, Lake Zurich, Illinois. I wonder if they're still in business. Probably, I assume not. But why don't we put it in and we'll boot it up, and we'll play around with it a little bit. And I got 5¼ inch floppy drive here. We're going to turn on the Apple IIgs, and here we go. Yeah, so that's the cool logo there. So here we go, Zoom Graphics 2nd edition, copyright 1981-1982. Make sure the printer is ready. Well, if I had a printer with this, I guess I could make sure that's ready. I don't have one now. Back then we did have that printer, the one I mentioned, the Epson dot matrix. But I can still go into the software and use it even though there's no printer, but it does kind of behave differently. But here we go. So here see, we see a blank screen, but if I had something on the screen before I rebooted, you know, like a picture that I had drawn myself or something that I did in high-resolution graphics, it would appear here, and then I could manipulate it in all sorts of different ways and then print it out on my printer. And but since I don't have anything now, I'm going to have to load some of the files that were on the disk. But before I do that, why don't we, I'm going to hit return and just show you some of the options on the software. It does let you manipulate the image in different ways. You can change the size, you can zoom into a certain portion, you know, a subsection of the window, you can change the margins, you can even put in a delay so that, you know, while it's printing, so that the print head doesn't heat up and stuff like that, because I think it takes a lot of work for those old dot matrix printers to print. You know, they probably heat up if they're like constantly going and going. And you have to tell it what printer you have and what slot your either your serial card or your parallel card is in. And another thing that it does is that it lets you define whether the white dots in the image are black on the printout or white on the printout. That has a lot to do with whether or not you're printing a photograph or something like that, because you might need to reverse it or else it won't look right. But the cool thing about this program is the images that it came with. And in order to access those images, all I have to do is press L to load, and we're going to get a catalog. So there's, like, as you can see, there's about a dozen different files on here, and there's these images, I don't know, I mean, they're like nothing special, but back then this was like a big deal. I mean, this was like seeing really kind of like high-resolution graphics for the first time, and it was kind of like a hint of, a sign of things to come, you know what I mean? So, like, if all I have to do is type in the file name, you know, pic.apple, and so here's the Apple logo, and that was one of the images that I think you can see that pretty well. That's one of the files on the disk, and I don't know. I'm probably going to go through most of these, but as you can see, if I wanted to flip it, I could go like that. Now it's upside down, and go like that. But let's try another file. Oh, dang it. Didn't mean to do that. My mistake. L to load. Okay. Got to get the hang of this software here. So catalog. And there are some fairly, well, I don't want to say they're totally photorealistic, but look at this one, for example. Here's a picture of Barbara. And, you know, I mean, this is still pretty primitive, but as you can see, we're getting there. This is like, you know, starting to get a little bit more detailed. And so why don't we look at some of the other pictures? Oh, Fred. Who can forget Fred? This is Fred, folks. Here he comes. This was one of my favorite pictures on the disc. This is Fred. He looks like he should be in some sort of Sunday's comic cartoon or something, a daily Sunday's comic. He's got kind of a Ziggy thing going on, I guess. But yeah, if we flip him upside down, now he's upside down. But so that's Fred. Let's load some other ones. I think Gremlin. It was another neat one. Let me load Gremlin. I almost don't remember what some of these look like. Oh yeah, Gremlin. This is the Gremlin. He's a cute little guy. I like this picture a lot. See, this is the kind of thing where I was talking about that setting on that other screen where you would have white dots would be black on the printout, or vice versa. Because if you printed this out, you would want these white dots to appear black on the printout. Otherwise, the whole page would be this black mess with, you know what I mean? So that's why that feature was there. But let's load some other pictures. That was Gremlin. Lady was another good one. This is another somewhat photorealistic picture of a woman. Nicely done. And like I said, back then this was just, it was like amazing. I thought, wow, what these personal computers are capable of doing. Of course, now look at what we have now. I mean, we've come such a far way, such a long way. But yeah, so that's Lady. That's the Lady picture on the disc. Let's load some more. I think there's a few more on here. Phoenix. Let's see, Phoenix. Oh yeah, I remember this one too. It's a pretty cool image. I like that. Let's see, load. Is there anything else? The other ones aren't really too special. I think Zoom is the logo for this company again. Let me load Zoom. Excuse me. Let's see if it is. Oh, Zoom Grafix. Yeah, it's just a logo for this software. So yeah, basically that's it. And I kind of wish I did have a printer attached to this so that I could try printing this out, but I don't. But it's still, I don't know. You know, at this stage of the game, there's really not much you can do with software like this anymore, considering how old it is. But it's a part. It's, you know, it's like, it's computer history. That's why I like talking about it. And I think this stuff needs to be preserved. And I'm glad that there's a retro, sort of a nostalgic computer enthusiasts out there that are willing to keep this stuff going and have an interest in it, because it's fascinating to me too. And you know, I hope that this Apple IIgs keeps on working for a long time. I'm glad that I invested in it and you know, I was able to give it a home. So basically that's it. What you see here is Zoom Grafix. That's an overview of the software, and like I said, it allows you to take any high-resolution image from your Apple II graphics screen and kind of capture it and manipulate it and print it out in any way you want, and that's what it was for. Got it for Christmas, I think 1984 or 1983 or something like that.